According to the CDC, it is estimated about 100 people die each year from illness caused by eating raw oysters. Even with that information, oysters are still one of my favorite foods to eat. So today, we're going to learn how to shuck and eat raw oysters. Shucking is required to get the meat out of the oyster. The oyster is in a very tough shell. It has a flat top and a curved bottom called the cup. We always want to keep the cup down to prevent the juice from spilling out. There's also a pointed part called the hinge, and this is where we'll be shucking the oyster. So let's go over the tools we need to shuck. First, we're going to need a flat, stable surface, preferably a table or a kitchen counter. This is to obviously be stable and to prevent injury. Next, we are going to need a thick kitchen towel. This is to cover our hand and hold the oyster while we are shucking to have good grip and to prevent injury. Next, we are going to need our oyster knife. The oyster knife has a thick non-slip handle and a short, blunt tip to insert to the oyster to prevent the tip from breaking off in the oyster, also to prevent injury. So now let's get to shucking. First, before we shuck, we want to inspect the oyster to make sure there is no cracks or that it's not broken. Also, if the shell is open, we give it a tap, and if it doesn't close, that means that it's dead and it should be discarded. This oyster looks good, so now we're going to get into shucking. First, we're going to cover our hand with the towel and hold the oyster with the cup facing down. Now we are going to insert the oyster knife into the hinge, and we're going to use strong pressure and rock back and forth. Sometimes pieces of shell will come cracking off, and that's normal. I usually take out my knife and wipe it off. See, a piece of shell broke off. No biggie, we keep going. Alright, getting deeper in there. Okay, now I popped off the shell. I felt it because now my knife is in there. So now I'm going to wiggle my knife in a rocking motion to lift up the shell. Now we're going to slide our knife over the top part of the shell to separate the meat from the abductor muscle. Excuse me. Alright, it's still a little stuck, so I'm going to push it down. Alright, and then after it's open, I like to use the knife to separate the oyster from the bottom muscle as well. Alright, so now that it's opened, now let's inspect the oyster. We want to check to see if there's juice, a lot of oyster juice, which is called the liquor, which I see there's a lot of. Give it a smell. I don't smell any smell. A slight fishy smell is normal sometimes, but a very strong offensive odor coming from the oyster, that means it's spoiled and should be thrown away. It looks pretty good to me. So now we're going to dress the oyster. It's all to everyone's preference. People like it just like this. So, cheers. Whew. It's a piece of shell in my mouth. It's really salty and briny. Some oysters can be a little sweet, like crab too. Now, you can also dress your oysters. Some people like lemon and Tabasco. I don't have Tabasco today, so we're just going to use lemon. And cheers. Very good. So, today you learned how to shuck oysters. Always remember to inspect the shell of the oyster to make sure there are no cracks and it's not broken. Also, invest in an oyster knife. to prevent injury, and it's just better overall. Next, always check if the meat and liquor is spoiled. You do not want to eat a bad oyster. And don't forget to enjoy. So, like we just seen, oysters are truly a delicacy. Cheers. Truly my favorite, and I hope it is yours too. So I hope to see you all in next class. Bye.